I am Jaden from Empower Yourself, and today I want to talk a little bit about depersonalization and derealization disorder. I want to touch a little bit on just kind of a background of a little bit of the research that I've read and done myself, and then I also want to share some insight from psychologists and people who have done like formal research studies and literature journals on the topic. And then I want to go ahead and share a few things that really helped me when I was seriously and in a very deep state of DP, I guess you could say. So I'll get started. So just a little background on myself. I experienced episodic depersonalization and derealization that started when I was probably 11 or 12, and it didn't become chronic until I was 14. And then it started off with really, really bad DP, and that lasted quite a long time. And I thank this disorder because it has given me such a heart and such a passion for helping people who are experiencing it and are experiencing a loss of hope. And I want to do what I can. And I had a lot of people that I found online when I was going through it that helped me. Now I'm almost out of a chronic state of DR, and it's so subtle now that I almost it doesn't cross my mind. The thing about DP, DPDR is it's trauma. It blows my mind how many things the people that I have met or talked to that have gone through DPD, whether they still currently are or they've come out of that. It's crazy to see the commonalities between, my personality and theirs. We're very alike, and it was comforting to realize that and to realize, okay, there's something deeper going on and there is something causing this, and with that, there is a cure. And I am somebody who really believes that we can heal. We can heal of anything, and I have always had that belief within me. Our minds are so powerful, and our bodies are healing things, and we can heal from anything if we provide our body and mind the things that they need. And a huge part of that for me was learning to listen to myself and my body. I read this book, and it's called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, and he's a medical doctor. He's one of the world's number one experts on trauma, and I think he works at the Boston School of Medicine. So there's two things in here that I wanted to for sure touch on, but I just want to start by recommending, if you're experiencing DPD or if you've become very interested in the topic, read this book. I think especially for people going through DPD, you need to realize that there's a 99.9% chance that trauma was prevalent in your life. And I did have a traumatic childhood, and it was quite obvious, but I didn't give the trauma the credit it deserved for presently affecting my life. And even for subtle trauma that may not be so easily recognized by you, it can wreak havoc on your body. And my friend, who was actually seeing a therapist, told me something that her therapist said, and it really stuck with me. And she said, unprocessed trauma and unprocessed memories are like drains that are plugged in the mind. And one thing that I didn't realize that was so significant was the effect that unprocessed memories and processed emotions have on your mind and your body. Chapter 6 in this book is called Losing Your Body, Losing Yourself. And it's quite literally about derealization and depersonalization. So there's one part that I want to read. And one line, actually. And it's when he writes, traumatized people are not so fortunate and feel separated from their bodies. And you really have to read this whole book to understand, the mind-body connection and the effect trauma has on the body. But it is just packed with such rich information. And there's actually sections that are labeled depersonalization and derealization. And it very vividly explains the feelings that people with DPD are experiencing. It goes on to say what you can do to work on your mind-body connection, and how do you overcome your trauma history, learning to remember, processing emotions. It's all in this book, and it is just so good, and it will help you if you are experiencing DPD. I promise you can heal. Mark my words, if you heal. The concept of trauma is new to you. I highly recommend, just sitting, reflecting, looking at some pictures. I actually have a pile of childhood pictures in my desk, and I went through all of these at a point in time, and I just reflected on them. And that's really when I realized, okay, I don't remember anything from when I was under 12. So that was a wake-up call for me. But their trauma is so diverse, and I just want you to realize that if you're watching this video thinking, no, there's no way I went through trauma, I was reading a study, and it was on the effect that childhood ACE scores, which is adverse childhood experience, the effect that childhood ACE scores has on the physical body. And counted in the childhood ACE scores were spousal, intermarital abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, a parent with mental illness, parent with physical illness, and there was more. I'll put the link below. I'm not super familiar on that article, but I did find it really interesting, and it does outline the different things that are contributors to trauma and that are considered as trauma. And there was some things there that took me by surprise. So I just really recommend looking into that, because I do strongly believe that DPD is our mind's coping mechanism. It's our mind's way of reacting to stress and reacting to hurt and unprocessed emotions. And you think, well, what the heck, it's not very helpful, because it's scary. But the more that you look into it, and the more that you read, and the more that you learn, you will realize there are ways that it does help you. How easy it is to lose hope when you're in the deep stages of DPDR. But don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. There is always hope. And for this disorder, there is hope. So I want to give you a few tips. Explore. And by that, I mean know yourself. So a lot of us with DPD have really neglected our needs and really neglected the inner voice within us that expresses how we feel and tells us what we need, how we feel. You need to learn how to listen to yourself, and not just up here, but your entire body. Listen to your needs. This is also proven by research and has been studied that awareness within yourself changes your pathways. It literally changes your body's biology and physiology. Really, the key to reversing trauma is awareness, because what caused it in the first place, not the trauma, but the effect that it's taken on your body, is the, I don't want to use the word neglect, but the disawareness, I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. And don't beat yourself up for this, because we shut out trauma because we can't handle the pain. And your body does what it thinks it needs to, and your mind does what it thinks it needs to, and chances are that in the moments of the troublesome experiences that you faced, it helped you. And if you haven't been listening to your inner voice, and you have been neglecting your needs, and you haven't stayed true to who you are, that's because of what you have learned. And that's because you haven't known better. So this is a chance to really prioritize yourself. Cater to your own needs. Just be there for yourself. You have this one life, you have this one body, you have this one mind, and you can't change what was handed to you, and you can't change your past, but you have control of your future. Tip number 2 is creating a daily recharge in your life. So reset rituals, and it will really condition your brain back. So I just have a few notes here. So deal with current social relationships that may be problematic. One term for energy sucking people that I read in an article was energy vampires. And it is so true that they are in our life. There are people who literally suck on you or have sucked on you for your energy, and they have taken your energy away. So this might be a friend you've had that has gone through, I don't know, whether it be a breakup or some kind of physical illness or mental illness or whatever it may be, but they're constantly pulling on you and tugging on you, and this is draining. So watch for those people. Also narcissistic people, so people who raise themselves above you, people who think they're better than you, people who degrade you. So destructive people, low emotional state, and all in all, these are all kind of energy sucking people. So yeah, so deal with current social relationships, kind of just reevaluate your life. You know, where is your energy going? Who have you filled your life with? Are the people in your life, you know, uplifting you? Are they supporting you? Are they helping you? And I know that being in DPD can cause you to isolate yourself socially. And if this is the case, then that's okay. But as you try to build relationships, really be careful with who you surround yourself with and who you spend your time with. With that also comes communicating boundaries. So as you explore and get to know yourself a little better, you're gonna learn your own boundaries. And this is good. You know, if you have faced trauma or if you've been neglected or whatever it may be, you probably have allowed people to overstep your boundaries, and you need to learn how to communicate them. And with that also is learning to say no. So that's huge, and that's something that I have personally struggled with. I'm very much a pushover. I always want, well, I'm going to talk in past tense because this is something that I've really been working on, but I always wanted to impress everybody. I always wanted to be liked by everybody, and this honestly led to me basing my personality on who I was hanging out with and who I was surrounded by. So I also had to learn how to communicate boundaries in times of you know, not wanting to do something, wanting to just spend a night at home. And I'm still young, so I also feel that the societal standards that I'm upholded to, I felt like I've needed to fulfill those in the past, and it's learning to just say no. And for a lot of people with DPD, that is something that we struggle with. So learning to communicate boundaries. Also, therapy. Now, if you think this is something you can do on your own, then give it a shot. You know, maybe you can. But counseling and therapy is something that has been of immense strength and immense help to me. You know, just being able to uncover my past. And if it wasn't for the counseling and therapy that I did, I wouldn't have been able to reprocess the emotions, and that's something I'm actually still going through right now. I am actually starting a new type of therapy next week, so I will update you on that. But that can be such a strength and such a help, and just for somebody to be there and to help you uncover the emotions and to go through the events with you can be super beneficial, because the old feelings do arise, and just having somebody to support you that you know is there for your well-being can also really help. Just a few types of the therapy that are proven to work best for DPDR are EFT and EMDR. So these are an ambient. If you have one specific traumatic event that you can pinpoint, then this would probably be for you. So whether you faced some sort of physical abuse, or sexual abuse, but more on a one, you know, like a one time, you have a memory of that one time, then EFT or EMDR would definitely most likely work, because it really helps you to shift your focus and shift the feelings that you associate with that event. The one I believe to be the best for DPDR is attachment trauma, and that is because a lot of it lays within the early stages of your attachment that ultimately affect the rest of your life. And the last one is neurofeedback. So this, I haven't done this one, but I have read up on it a little bit. And essentially what I've got from it is it allows you to actually watch your brain waves when you go through events and go through feelings, and just aligning the two together can be really therapeutic. Journaling and yoga. So number one is journaling, and I'll just share a little bit of what I do. So each month I set my intentions for the month, and well, we're in the month of April right now, so I'll just show you a little bit kind of what it looks like. But I just set my intentions for the month, and just, this page fell out, but I really reflect on what I want to cultivate in that month. And that's one little thing I do for myself. And then I also journal every night before bed. Just reflect on the day, reflect on anything that upset me, any changes I want to make, and anything that I kind of said to add in with getting to know yourself. And number 2 is yoga. Yoga is so good for DP, and it can be scary in the early stages, but it is so crucial, in my opinion. If you disagree, I respect that, but I really do think that the extent that they emphasize the mind and body connection is so important, and it just allows you to feel as grounded as possible. You have the ability to feel as grounded as possible in an open space, and hot yoga is one that I have really enjoyed. The Restore and Relax classes, where you can literally just go in and lay there in the heat and sweat, just to be able to just feel as embodied within yourself as you can is so fantastic. And along with yoga is meditation. So I have a really good app, and it's called Calm, and it has just 10-minute meditations, guided meditations that you can just sit and do before bed in the morning, but just really to ground you and to give your mind that space. You really just need to prioritize yourself. Do your research, learn. If you're going through this, I promise you it will interest you. Stay off of support groups, negative support groups. If you're realizing there's a lot of negativity, then just search recovery stories. Only search beneficial things that will be of benefit to you. I would love to chat, so I will put my email down below, and if you have any questions or want to chat, send me an email, comment, let me know how this is, let me know any further videos you'd like me to make. I just want to close with one of the quotes from this book. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will gradually, without noticing, live along some distant day into the answer. And I love that. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'm wishing you all healing.